me, Alex, I'll start with you, what you learned about this country in the last year and what it means going forward.
I've learned this country's afraid and that this is the end of royalty, the end of monarchical government. This is the let them eat cake election. For decades now, Americans have been promised that if we send enough money and power to Washington, they're going to fix everything. And America's had its heart broken and it's scared to death because nothing works. Everything seems to be falling apart. And what do scared people do? They do scary things. And we see Bernie Sanders, the populist movement on the left, Trump and Cruz on the right. The peasants are revolting this election, and they have a good reason. There's no question that Donald Trump is an unconventional candidate. But I would urge all of us here in Washington to remember the urgency of the moment that the American people feel. Folks are desperately wanting change in this election. They think we're headed in the wrong direction. And yes, they are making some very unconventional decisions here because they think we are just at a terminal moment. If this country continues to drift in the direction of European socialism, what happened to Greece, what is happening in France will eventually happen to us. Because what? He's a salesman. He's a deal maker. If he wins the nomination, what's he going to do? Do the last deal again? No, he's going to do the next deal. You can hear him now saying, how are we going to stop Hillary Clinton? If we don't do that, we've accomplished nothing. He does still have a chance to unify this party. If we think the country is in revolt now and has turned to the choices it has now, wait 8 years. If we continue to go in the same direction, 8 years of stagnation, the world seems to be setting itself on fire or dissolving in front of our eyes. Think what the choices that America might make then. So I think there's some urgency to the moment right now.
You guys were talking about this in the green room.
Yeah, I have a slightly more optimistic view of Trump's chances. I think they're at least 50-50, if not better. First of all, Donald Trump is a talented political salesman. Hillary Clinton's one of the worst candidates in human history. Hillary Clinton has never been up against a candidate like Donald Trump with, 10 arms and 8 legs. This guy tweets at night, crosses freeways with Secret Service details.
But is that an advantage in the general election?
He's going to keep her off balance all the way through this thing. But more importantly, Hillary, the country's in trouble. The plane's headed for the top of the mountain here. We're going to crash unless we pull back. And Hillary Clinton is more of the same. The country is in the mood for disruptive change.
Alex, please get some more rest. The truth is, I think that if you look at the electoral map...
There are 16 dead Republicans out there who underestimated Donald Trump.
We're getting a lot of
Beware.
sleep.
Is Rich wrong?
Well, I think as much as I love National Review and thank it for making me the conservative I am today, I think they've shown up at the war long after the last shot's been fired here. They're telling the Republican Party to pull its ripcord long after we've hit the ground and gone splat. It's 7 days to go before the Iowa caucus. And National Review is saying we should be the party of Ronald Reagan, not Donald Trump. Well, that's great, but I checked and Reagan is not on the ballot.
Yes or no? Let him answer.
What created Donald Trump is the failure of the Republican Party to lead this country into the future. We've told America that our principles are only good for saying no and telling people what they can't do. There's a Democratic Party that's only offering more of the same old failure. Washington just hasn't done enough. There's a Republican Party that can only say no to everything. Guess what? The American people are furious on both ends, and they want to throw everybody out. The failure belongs to both parties. Somebody ought to lead this joint. Trump is playing on a different level than the other candidates. This is not about whether he's offended personally. I think what all voters are seeing is this man's willing to take risk, even when he's in the lead, that other smaller candidates aren't willing to take. And when we have a president that Republicans think draws red lines that mean nothing, and the world seems to be falling apart, Republicans want a president who is as big as our fears and as strong as our adversaries. And Donald Trump is showing them that now. Whoever wins is going to be given a gift. They're going to be given that moment to bring the country together. I hope they're wise enough to do it. We've seen numbers with Trump up in North Carolina. He's up in Ohio, Pennsylvania. I wonder if this race is not already over and maybe Trump has won this thing. This is an election that still wants change, and Hillary Clinton has never expressed a vision of what that change would be. Trump has. but he's the solution to the problem Republican voters see. He is nothing more than an expression of the outrage of a lot of Republican voters at the Republican establishment.
I agree.
Our party is broken, and unless this is the last election we can crank up our engine way past the red line and try to get 178% of the old white guy vote and win anything. So we have got to become the party of change, and the party going to change watch, and the party of the future.
I'm going to put everybody on the spot. Put your predictions up on the board.
286 electoral votes for Donald Trump. He wins North Carolina and Ohio and goes up through the Rust Belt. He barely hangs on in Florida, and I think if he does lose, the rational brain says it would be because of the Hispanic vote in Florida. But I think he edges that out. Underneath this all, Donald Trump had a very clear message. Make America great again. He was change. I was walking through the D.C. airport, and they were selling the T-shirts at the tchotchke stand. What did the Trump T-shirt say? Make America great again. The Hillary Clinton T-shirt said, Hillary Clinton in 2016. There was no real message, vision, offering the American people something better.